How's it going? Welcome to another episode of Creative Corner. I hope you enjoyed that opening segment that I showed you there. The point of that segment really wasn't the train switching, it was actually the buildings that it was switching into. Mainly, the coal shed in front is part of that shed that's in the back, and the shed right now is what I'm going to show you. Basically, both of those buildings were built from scrap material, and to be completely honest, garbage and recycling from around the house. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the scraps. The scraps I had was some material here by Mount Albert Scale Lumber. This is it here. Now you can't get this anymore, but the company that took this over is actually Fast Track. So you go on over to Fast Track's website and you can get this kind of material. This is exactly is the 4-inch clapboards in HO scale. That is basically what the sides of both the buildings is made out of. Basically just rectangles on the front and a square with a triangle on the top. Just cut out with an X-Acto knife. Very simple. But if you wanted to go even more budget friendly, you can simply just use balsa wood and scribe it yourself. But the point of this video is really budget materials and stuff from around the house. So I purposely showed you this building so I could show you the back. It's actually not completed yet. And what I want you to take a look at is this right here, the roof. What that roof is simply cardboard. This is it right here. And it's just packaging cardboard from a little hobby kit that my daughter got to play with. So that's what the roof is. To disguise the side of the roof, I used little strips like this of Spanish cedar. The Spanish cedar actually came from some cigar boxes that I had. So that's a little tip right there. If you go to your local cigar store, normally they are trying to get rid of cigar boxes, and in those cigar boxes you can get these little strips of Spanish cedar. Amazing stuff. I use it for clapboard and for fascias on my buildings like this right here. Another perfect thing I love to use is toothpicks like this right here to build fences. Cut the toothpick, rip little strips of this, and build fences. Not only does it make great fences, it's actually making a really great scratch-built stock pen that I'm putting together right now, as you can see in this photo right here. So let's go back to this building here. So like I said, we've got cardboard, and the front is actually just construction paper that I ripped into little strips with scissors and then just cut little notches roughly about every 1/8 of an inch and then put on easily like that. And then all you do is you just take a hobby knife and flip up the odd shingle and you get an effect like that. A little bit of weathering, dry brushing of course on this would finish it off, but for now I'm just going to leave it like that until I have the backside completed. Now I want to go back to the construction, the cardboard construction just for a minute. And the reason why I want to show you this is because there's something else I have used it for. It is this building right here. So the point I want to make here is if you're not detailing the interior, you really just need to make the skeleton of the building. Now, in real life, I actually do real framing of buildings and stuff like that. So I totally could do it and model all of that. But in this situation, it's not really necessary. So here's a quick shot of the prototype of what I was looking at. And basically I just used not really scale, but more proportion. I know the relative size of doors and loading doors, what they would be. We're looking at roughly 7 feet by 3 feet for a loading door. If you go off that, that's basically how I did it and just proportioned it out. And I'm really happy with this skeleton. But the big thing we got to look at is the edge of the roofs. So it's this cardboard here. So it's a little big and it shows. So of course I'm going to have to add some fascia like this. When it's all completed, it'll be covered in corrugated siding made out of aluminum foil. Again, something laying around the house. Now, with that being said, that aluminum foil is actually a heavier aluminum foil that you have to look for, but I'll show that on a separate video. But already you can see the scene really coming together. The cool thing about this too, making skeletons like this that will turn into the model, is that you already have your mock-ups. I've had that mentioned a few times on live streams where people are saying, oh, you could use some mock-ups. Well, my mock-ups are already done, and my mock-ups are actually going to become the actual buildings. Another little point I want to make with cardboard, and if you're going to scratch build with cardboard, is the thickness. You must be very careful. It depends on your jam size. And when we're talking about a jam is basically the inside frame of the door, and the casing goes on top. The casing is the finished trim that goes on top. If you have a door that is going, door and window really, that is going to mount from the outside, then you're okay. You can really use any kind of cardboard, like a thick cardboard that I have over here off of a box, like this. This thickness wouldn't matter. But if you're going to do a door that's going to open inside, or it's going to be recessed into the building, then you want to be careful of that jam thickness, because this is where your scale and wall thickness is going to show. So you really want to find a cardboard like this. This is why I use it. It's perfect. It's a little thicker than your cereal box, and it's a little thinner than your standard packaging cardboard. So it's something to keep in mind. So just to recap on that, if you're going to have something that mounts, basically your doors and windows, if they mount from the outside and it's going to be covered, doesn't matter. But if it's going to be recessed on the inside and you're going to show that wall width is basically what we're talking about, then you want to make sure you go with something a little skinnier like this. Another scratch building material, which I've shown before more on live streams, but it's this right here, foam core. This has easily become one of my favorite things. What I'm basically doing is using this, carving bricks into it, and using Chishi train group doors and windows, and basically painting it up. And this is becoming my main factory buildings. And in Chesley and in Owen Sound, there's a lot of factories. And I'm really enjoying working with this stuff. You can basically draw your bricks on it and draw your windows. And as you draw it with the pencil, it's already carved in there and ready for paint. A lot of people put a coat of plaster over the top. I personally don't do that, but it's your own choice. But of course, we'll do some how-to videos on that later on. Main thing I'm going to say with foam core when you're looking for this, I found this at a dollar store. There's a brand that you can get at Walmart called Elmer's, by Elmer's glue. That stuff, I find the paper doesn't tear off easily. It does come off. You can use water to get it off. But this is another cheaper brand that you just get at your dollar stores. And as you can see here, the paper just tears away. Makes it so simple, so easy. Another thing, scratch building, we don't even have to talk about buildings. We can talk about roads and stuff like that with our scenery. I use this a lot for contours of building roads. Another thing I use for roads is the thicker cardboard, which we were talking about earlier. This stuff here, your standard box packaging cardboard for road bases. Little trick there. Anyways, folks, I hope you liked this and enjoyed it, and I hope you picked up a couple tips and maybe even learned a couple things. If you're new here, remember to please hit that like and subscribe button to help out the channel and get this content out to different people. Also, remember to hit that bell notification icon so you can be notified of further uploads and live streams. With that being said, if you're new here, welcome to the art of model railroading. Stay creative. Happy model railroading, my friends. See you later. Bye-bye.